Good morning, friends. Today we are continuing the nervous system. Yesterday we have studied about the forebrain. That is the first one is the cerebrum in the forebrain. It consists of four lobes: frontal lobe, parietal lobe, temporal lobe, and the occipital lobes. So then the second one in the forebrain is diencephalon, which is made up of epithalamus, hypothalamus, and thalamus. Epithalamus, thalamus, and hypothalamus. So we have studied about all these things. Today we are going to the next one, that is the midbrain. The brain is divided into three major parts. The forebrain consists of cerebrum and diencephalon. The midbrain consists of cerebral peduncles, corpora quadragenia or tectum, superior, inferior, caudiculi, and the hindbrain consists of cerebellum, pons varolii, medulla oblongata, spinal cord. So, coming to the midbrain, here you can see the midbrain clearly in this figure. Midbrain is present here below the hypothalamus and connected to the cerebellum. It is connected to the cerebellum. It is just below the hypothalamus and above the pons varolii, the pons varolii. So this is the midbrain. When we take the TS transverse section of the midbrain is also called as mesencephalon, It is also called as mesencephalon, which is shortest segment of the brain located between thalamus and pons. So it is in between the thalamus or the hypothalamus and the pons varolii. So it is in between. It is a small structure, small segment of the brain. The cerebral aqueduct passes through the center of the midbrain. The cerebral aqueduct passes through the midbrain. This is the cerebral aqueduct which passes through the midbrain. A small channel-like structure, that is cerebral aqueduct. The part of the midbrain lying above the imaginary transverse line drawn through the cerebral aqueduct is called tectum. This is the imaginary line which is drawn passing through the aqueduct, and the portion above the imaginary line is called as tectum, and below the imaginary line it is called as cerebri-peduncle. The part of the midbrain lying above the imaginary transverse line drawn through the cerebral aqueduct is called tectum. Likewise, the part below the line is made up of right and left cerebral peduncles. The aqueduct is surrounded by grey matter, which contains nuclei of third and fourth cranial nerves. Here you can see the grey matter inside, and the grey matter contains the nuclei of third and fourth cranial nerves. Here in the grey matter, third and fourth cranial nerve nuclei are present. Third and fourth cranial nerve nuclei are present in the gray matter surrounding the aqueduct, which contain nuclei of third and fourth cranial nerves. The tectum is made up of a pair of superior colliculi and a pair of inferior colliculi. These are called as colliculi. Colliculi, a pair of colliculi. The superior colliculi is concerned with the visual pathway and the inferior colliculi is concerned with the auditory pathway. The serous cerebri is made up of descending fibers. The serous fibri, these are the descendant fibers. So this is about the midbrain. Coming to the hindbrain, there are 4 different parts in the hindbrain. The first one is the cerebellum, second is pons varolii, third is medulla oblongata, and fourth is spinal cord. So the hindbrain consists of cerebellum, pons varolii, medulla oblongata, and spinal cord. Now the first one, cerebellum. Cerebellum means a little brain. This is nothing but a little brain. It is a little brain. It is called as little brain. It is a largest part of the hindbrain and sends second largest part of the brain. It is the largest part of the hindbrain. The hindbrain consists of 4 parts and this cerebellum is largest part among 4 and it is second largest part of the brain. Second largest part of the complete brain. The first largest part of the hindbrain, which consists of 4 parts: cerebellum, pons varolii, medulla oblongata, and spinal cord. Among this is somewhat big one, and it is second largest part in the complete brain. The first large part is cerebrum. The first one is the cerebrum, which is largest part of the brain, but the second largest part is nothing but cerebellum. It is situated behind the pons and below the occipital lobe of cerebrum in the posterior cranial cavity fossa. In the posterior cranial cavity, it is situated behind pons varolii and below occipital lobe of cerebrum. This is the occipital lobe. Cerebrum, occipital lobe. There are 4 lobes in the cerebrum, and this is one of that one, that is the occipital lobe of cerebrum. So it is below the occipital lobe of the cerebrum and in front of the pons varolii here, pons varolii in front. Now it is situated in the posterior cranial cavity. It is separated by tentorium cerebri, a fold of It is separated by tentorium cerebri by a fold. Cerebrum here. It is separated by a fold here. That is called as cerebri, tentorium cerebri. Cerebrum is divided into 2 hemispheres joined together by a worm-like portion, that is vermis. Here when we take the section of the cerebrum, that is the cerebellum, when we take the section, you can see this figure. The 2 lobes are there and the lobes are divided by the vermis. Small line, work like a line. Cerebellum is divided into two hemispheres joined together by a worm-like portion, that is vermis. The cerebellum has an outer layer of grey matter and inner layer of white matter. This is white matter and this is the grey matter. Grey matter, which is branched tree-like appearance, which has a tree-like appearance. Inside the white matter, there are four pairs of nuclei. There are four pairs of nuclei. This is the first pair, this is the second pair, and this is third pair, and this is fourth pair. So four pairs of nuclei or nucleuses are present in the white matter. They are, the first one is vestigial, second is globose, third one is emboliform, and the fourth one is dentate. So four types of nuclei are present, which are the functional areas of the nervous system. The cerebellum is connected on either side of the pons brainstem by bundles of fibers called cerebellar peduncles. It is connected by cerebellar peduncles. Now the function of cerebellum, the cerebellum has a main function which is nothing but control and coordination of the various movements. It controls and coordinates the various movements of our body. The first function. The second one is for which it receives information from cerebral cortex, vestibular, auditory and visual receptors. To control the different activities of the human body, it receives the information from auditory and visual receptors as well as cortical receptors and vestibular receptors. It receives the information first, then it coordinates the different actions of our body. The third point, it maintains the balance and muscular movement. It maintains the balance of our body and the movements of the muscles. It controls all movements of skeletal, voluntary muscles by its motor neurons. By its motor neurons, it controls almost all voluntary muscles, not involuntary, but the voluntary muscles are controlled by cerebellum. It controls all the movements of the skeletal voluntary muscles by its motor neurons. Motor neurons are present there, and these motor neurons are the major sites of control which control the skeletal voluntary muscles. It receives sensations of pain or pressure from the skin, joints and different tissues. It receives the sensation of pain and pressure when occur on our body, then occur on our skin, then it is informed to the cerebellum first and it reacts according to it. The skin and the joints of the body where the sensation of the pain and pressure occur, it receives the information. Number 6, it also receives sensation from special sense organs, special senses of sight, hearing, taste, smell and touch. It also receives the senses of sight, hearing, taste, smell and touch. It contains centers of mental power like consciousness, memory, intelligence, language and speech, reasoning power, will, self-control and emotions. So almost all centers of the mental power are present in the cerebellum. So cerebellum receives all the information from the mental powers. Now, the next one, second one is the pons varolii. Pons varolii. So this portion is called pons varolii. The midbrain, pons varolii, medulla oblongata, spinal cord. It will be like this. So we have studied about the midbrain, cerebellum we have studied, hypothalamus and thalamus and cerebellum, all we have studied. Now coming to the pons varolii. The midbrain, pons and medulla oblongata are collectively called as brain stem, which connect the forebrain and spinal cord. So the midbrain, pons and medulla oblongata are collectively called as brain stems. Brain stem. It is a brain stem. The pons varolii is located in front of cerebellum, below the midbrain and above the medulla oblongata. It is situated in front of cerebellum, below the midbrain and above the medulla oblongata. The word pons means bridge. Pons means bridge, which is made up of mainly nerve fibers of white matter that form a bridge between the two hemispheres of the cerebellum. So it becomes the bridge between the cerebellum by the nerve fibers. So the pons varolii is nothing but a bridge. It is the main connection between the cerebellum and the brain stem. The bridge-like white matter is anterior surface of pons, whereas the grey matter beneath is a continuation of midbrain, which contains neurons that receive impulses from forebrain and sent to the cerebellum. The pons processes the information from fifth cranial nerve, that is sensory informations from face, skull, mouth and nose, and the motor control of chewing, and the eighth cranial nerve, that is hearing and balancing. So the pons also has a very important function. It receives the information, or it processes the information of fifth cranial nerves, that is sensory informations from face, skull, mouth and nose, and the motor control of chewing, and eighth cranial nerve, that is hearing and balancing. It also contains the pneumatotoxic area that operates the respiratory center of the medulla oblongata and controls the respiration process. It also has a pneumotoxic area that operates the respiratory center of the medulla oblongata. The medulla oblongata has the respiratory center and it is operated by the pons, and it controls the respiration process. Thus it controls the respiration process also. Coming to the medulla oblongata, medulla means bulb. Medulla means bulb. Pons means bridge. Pons is bridge. Medulla is bulb. Medulla means bulb. It is a posterior part of brain, extends from the pons and continues below as spinal cord located within the cranium. So this medulla is located in the cranium, which continues as the spinal cord below, and above the pons varolii is present. So it continues below as spinal cord located within the cranium. This is the last part which is located in the cranium. The remaining spinal cord passes in the vertebral column. Its anterior and posterior surfaces are marked by central fissures. On either side of the anterior fissure, there are swellings called pyramids. The outer part of medulla is composed of white matter which passes between brain and spinal cord, and the central part is composed of grey matter which is responsible for processing cranial nerve informations. The vital centers like respiratory and vasomotor are situated in the medulla. The last cranial nerve, that is 9th, 10th, 11th and 12th, emerge from medulla. The 9th, 10th, 11th and 12th cranial nerves, last four cranial nerves, 9, 10, 11, 12, they emerge from the medulla. Medulla gives rise to the cranial nerves. Ascending and descending tracts pass through medulla. Ascending and descending tract of informations pass through the medulla. In the deeper structure of medulla is supplied with anterior spinal arteries and posterior inferior cerebral arteries. The blood is supplied to the medulla is by anterior spinal artery and the posterior inferior cerebral artery. In the deeper structure of medulla, the vital centers consist of cell bodies, that is nuclei, which are associated with autonomic reflex activities are present. They are cardiovascular centers, respiratory centers, reflex centers of vomiting, coughing, sneezing and swallowing. Damage to vital centers leads to death. So, damage to medulla oblongata leads to death. Bulbar paralysis is by paralysis of muscles supplied by the last 4 cranial nerves. When these cranial nerves are paralyzed, then the disease called bulbar paralysis occurs. So, this is all about the hind brain or the hind brain. The one more is left, that is the spinal cord. The 3 we have completed: cerebellum, pons varolii, medulla oblongata. So, all these 3 parts of the hind brain we have completed. The last one is the spinal cord. Tomorrow we are going to learn about the spinal cord and its structures. The second one is the peripheral nervous system, and third one is autonomic nervous system. So there are 4 types of nervous system: the central nervous system, peripheral nervous system, then autonomic nervous system. So all these things we will study tomorrow. So today we have studied about the middle brain, that is midbrain, and the 3 parts of the hind brain. The 3 parts of the hind brain we have already studied today. Now the last part, that is the spinal cord, it is the big one. That's why tomorrow I am going to take that spinal cord. Thank you very much.